Hello, everybody. Jump on here and do a weekly review. Just see, we're basically a Sunday prep, getting ready for next week. That's the market is going to open today. It is Sunday, right? Yep. All right. So let's start with the NQ. Uh, the NQ is in a spot that I just really don't like to trade. Uh, I am going to watch it because I think I know where we're going here. Um, but looking at the daily chart, uh, we've built up a lot of liquidity, a lot of internal liquidity on the daily, and we don't have really any liquidity uh, above us uh, because we're at all-time highs. So, if there's not much we can do here on trying to figure out where we go to the upside, we're going to kind of want to see if we actually break Friday's high and then pull back, start pulling back down because we did just break structure on the daily. So I do expect a pullback of some kind here. I would be looking for at least getting down to discount, which would be 50%, which would be back to these highs right here, and would also be into this daily fair value gap. So, um, if we don't get down to 50%, we may we may see a bounce right off the top of that fair value gap, and we may not even make it there tomorrow or today, tomorrow, Monday. Um, but this is the areas where I just don't like trading in Q, um, because we don't have anything above us uh, telling us where we're going to go. Um, if we were to mark out the last push up with a pullback, then we made it down to the 50%, and we're almost at the 2.7, which, like I said, is why I'm thinking maybe we break Friday's high, we hit the 2.7, and we fall off from there. Um, it'll be interesting, and this is really uh, where working with other people really gets interesting because you'll see where the 2.7 is. All of these green lines are the market clubhouse levels with RIPS. I am back in his Discord as a paid member. Um, so I get these levels, and if we were to work the fib pullback from the last push up, it got back down into discount and reversed, and is now headed up, and we are really close to the 2.7, which is also the last level on the NQ for Market Clubhouse. Now, I'm sure Rips Monday morning will come out with new levels to give us some stuff up above. Um, but as of the last set of levels, this is lining up really, really nicely for a level that we can reverse off of and start pulling back. If nothing else, back into internal liquidity, which is right now this fair value gap. We will make another one up above, but I think if we do make another one up above, we definitely can get a pullback through that one to come down here, as that would be, let's just say, if we did make it to the 2.7, um, and that level right there, then the 50% is right at the bottom of this fair value gap here. We do have another fair value gap below it, which would be in the 6.2, 7.0, and 7.9 range. So this is looking pretty interesting. I really do want to see us come up and hit this level on Monday, which would be, you know, grabbing liquidity from Friday's high, and then I want to see that pullback start. Um, so that is pretty much what I'm looking for the NQ. I will not, uh, I will not be trading the NQ unless we see good displacement on the 5-minute chart off of this 2.7 level. Um, you know, I always have two charts up, uh, which actually this is my higher time frame, but just marking things on this one to show it. Um, I can go ahead and just remove those drawings there. Open this one up. Put this one back on the 5-minute. Okay, put this one up and head to the daily. So you can see what exactly we're looking at here. So yeah, if, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and mark this up from the last pullback. That swing low, which is here. Oh, wait, sorry, not that one. Uh, Last swing low is here. So we will use that as the swing low. Oh, wait, I take that back. Stop, stop, stop. Is he what you doing? All right, so here is the last swing. We got our pullback to 50%, and we're coming up to the 2.7. So that's what I'm going to be watching to make sure this long. Make sure that I can see this on the hourly chart. Don't want it on the minute, second, but I do want it on the day in the hourly chart. So that'll work. So when I actually go to the chart that I watch, which is the 1 hour, it should be on there. There it is. Perfect. So that's up there, and our 2.7 is right there. So let's see what happens when we open up. Do have a 1 hour fair value gap we could touch before going up there to reverse, which is very possible. So I may just take a long if we get down to this fair value gap on the hourly. Uh, See if we can't bounce off that to go grab liquidity from Friday's highs. That would be a pretty good trade from that fair value gap up to Friday's high, leaving a runner to go up to the 2.7. That would be the daily 2.7. So that will work out really well. Here though, that so I'll bring that line over. So Asia reaches that, or London reaches that 2.7, we'll definitely put in an overnight trade for that level. Friday, we did just barely break above high of day before pulling back, but we don't actually have displacement yet, and we still have this fair value gap sitting on the 1 hour. Um, so yeah, that's NQ. Let's go ahead and move over. Pretty sure the ES is, yeah. Excuse me. ES looks pretty much the same. Um, and I'm I don't really trade the ES, so the only thing I really look for on the ES is divergence, SMT entries between ES and Q. So I'm really not going to go over ES all that much, but it's pretty much the same as the NQ. Um, this was our last swing low. Maybe we did a fib from that swing low to the high. ES did not get back to 50%, came close, then broke structure again. So, and again, from this swing low to swing high, pull back, we do have the 2.7 sitting right up here in between levels, the ES. So we'll just have to see what happens when we get up there. It would be great to see the NQ and ES show divergence up here at the top. When we get there, let's just say the 1 hour. If we get divergence on that up here at this high, at this level, that would be fantastic. Set that high right there. And so we have 2.7 yellow line on the hourly. We have, we definitely have a buy side market maker. Um, the original consolidation here, 3 steps of consolidation before reaching the top, coming back down, and now we've grabbed liquidity from that range high. So we'd love to see this, even if it pops up a little more, start to come back and start the sell side of this market maker model. Um, we could start this week, just be on the sell side of that market maker model for the rest of the week, which would be awesome. So that is pretty much what I'm looking at. Yes, like I said, just don't trade it. I would rather trade the NQ, uh, but I'll be looking for that SMT divergence come this week. The YM, the Dow on the daily chart. The great thing I love about the Dow is we have levels above us and we have levels below us. Um, we are at up around the all-time highs, but we have had pullbacks off that area, and we do have some liquidity above us and liquidity below us. So that gives us a pretty good opportunity for some moves. If we moved into the 1 hour, well, right now, we made the highs. We got our drop down. We pulled liquidity from this low, shot back up, but we could not break the high. And then we had pushed back down. That changed market state right here on this low. So if we were to put a fib on this daily move from here to here, then we've already touched the 6.2. No, I take that back. We've touched the 7.0 and reversed off of it. Now, do we come back and touch the 7.9 up into this inverse fair value gap? I don't think so if it's going to come down, just because that would mean it would have to invert possibly this fair value gap, unless we just get a really big spike up. at the New York Open and then dropped down to preserve this bearish fair value gap. Um, I'm really interested in what's going to happen during London Asian because we've pushed up into this fair value gap a bit. We haven't been able to break the body of the last reversal, and um, we're playing right around that 50% to the 6-2 mark. So um, really interested to see if we come up and sweep this high right here on the pullback and then get some displacement down. That would be very interesting to me for starting a sell side. 1 hour, take a look at it. We did grab liquidity off of these highs here, had some displacement, had our pullback. Let me get my charger. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, there we go. So, um, if we were to look at this, where we took liquidity from the highs and we got 1 hour displacement down, if we were to draw a fib on that displacement, um, oh, swing high, swing low, we came back, we hit between the 6-2 and the 7-0, and then displaced even further, creating an order block here. Um, so where we are now is in this range. Um, you know, the thing was, we came down, we pushed up, we didn't quite get the highs back over here before this big displacement, and then we kind of got into the buy side. Question is this going to be the end of the buy side right here? Since we've already touched the 7-0, are we going to head back down uh, and get down into some of this liquidity down here? So that's remains to be seen. If we are on the buy side, this liquidity move from this range uh, is interesting. We have not yet broken, well, we did right there. We came back into ranging, and then we came up and we broke and grabbed liquidity from there, from these highs. Um, but we haven't broken the range, swept liquidity on the range highs, which we may or may not do. This is this is really interesting because of where all the levels are. I'm not looking at the 5-day SMA because I don't think I had the right calculations on the 1 hour. Let's see. Yeah, I think that's right. So we have tried to break below the 5-day, pulled back up, came back down, rejected below it again, pushed back up. Oh, but I think we should be in the sell side just because when we took liquidity from this high over here, it was a very fast push up and then displacement got up into this area here, which was at the 7-0, and we got quick displacement down, a quick pullback, into good levels and even harsher displacement down. So I'm looking at this range to break, and I'm pretty much expecting us to go down. Uh, we did break liquidity to the downside of that range, so it is possible we go back up, but yeah, we have this inverted 1 hour fair value gap. If we do start moving up, then I'm definitely looking at uh, the YM to take out this buy side liquidity from these highs and possibly go up and hit that liquidity at the 1 hour inverted fair value gap, which would be really good spot for this to turn around and go back down again. So just going to kind of have to watch the 1 hour here and see what it does. It's really not wanting to stay below the 5-day SMA. We did grab liquidity from this low here and started our push back up. So it is possible that we go up and take this high. I think if we take this high, which was in this order block, which has been tested twice, 3 times now, we may very well go and take liquidity from this high as well. If we do that, then I don't see why we would just go on up, uh, take out this fair value gap, hit the inverted fair value gap before coming back down. I think a lot of it's going to have to do with what we see when we come back down to VWAP or the 5-day SMA again. Kind of do we get displacement up on the lower time frame at that point to possibly be a 1 hour sell side because we did hit liquidity here. So we could be entering a 5-minute sell side, get down here somewhere or even down to VWAP and then see a quick liquidity move, maybe below this candle. And if we get that displacement on the 5-minute to show a move back into buy side, then we definitely could be targeting this 1 hour level up here and get a really, really nice trade out of that. So we'll just have to see. But that's kind of my idea. Um, we could possibly, since we took this high, come down to take liquidity at the lows um, on Monday, or if we see a good reversal, if we take liquidity from 39, right around 39, 630, um, and on the 5-minute we see a liquidity pop, and then some displacement up to change the market structure, then we may very well be in finishing up this buy side 1 hour up to these highs. And again, if we get up to this liquidity level here, I don't see why we don't just go ahead and take liquidity from the order block and get up to this inverted fair value gap. If this continues and breaks structure to the downside on this swing low, then I will definitely be looking for a pullback and then to go further down to grab liquidity from uh, this sell side liquidity area and this inverted fair value gap. So I have to see which way that runs. Taking a look at crude oil, which I have not done in a few days. Interesting to see what it's been doing. Nice up run after taking some liquidity out here with a big daily inverted fair value gap. Um, last fair value gap we had was here. We just took liquidity from this high. That looks like a pretty good liquidity move to get a pullback to internal liquidity Um, if we go past the 7.9 here, I think we're coming on down to get into this liquidity here. We haven't, I mean, we didn't really get displacement, just getting some chop here. So this could continue higher to go on up and take these highs out. We do have some liquidity up here to the upside. That was good. Sell side liquidity, sell side liquidity. Yeah, we got a good bit of sell side liquidity taken out down here into this fair value gap, and then just a very nice reversal. Um, we have yet to have a pullback, a good pullback to be able to enter. So since we didn't actually get displacement from this liquidity move, we're just kind of got a couple hours of chop. I think I might go long down here around the 6.2, 705 area. Maybe grab one contract at the 6.2, add at the 7.5, 705 if we get there, and even add one more at the 7.9, stopping out below this swing low if we get there. Um, we'll have to see what the lower time frame does when we get down to that area, if we get down to that area. Typically in a bullish market, you know, we came up, we pulled back, and then we moved up. I'd like to see a sweep of this low right here, right around 82.53. And if we sweep that, we could hit the 705, or the 6.2, sorry, and move back up to take out the high and get up here to this previous high at the 2.7, which is kind of in between market clubhouse levels. Uh, so if we did, I think we could, maybe get back up to this market clubhouse level here. If not, completely take liquidity off these highs up to this market clubhouse level or into that inverted fair value gap. Um, so definitely we'll be interested to see how price starts moving through Asia and New York on crude oil and see what we look like when we get close to New York Open. Gold, I haven't messed with a whole lot. Oh wait, was that the daily on scale? It sure was. So let's take a look at the 1 hour. Oh yeah. Fair value gap was touched. We're holding above the 5 day. Came down, hit it, bounced, but we had this bearish fair value gap ahead of us. We broke structure there, had displacement. Let's take a look at uh, what that's going to look like. So the 5.0 is up here, uh, pretty close to the top of that fair value gap, and right around view up. So we could very well get a pullback to there. I might start looking at adding short to crude oil. Um, the 1 hour definitely took this high. That's that. We've come up, gotten all the way back up here. So we've got back up to the original consolidation that did the sell side. Looks like we've made it back up on the buy side. Just have to see what it does from here. If it keeps that lower high and breaks the 5 day SMA, then definitely at least coming down to this inverted 1 hour fair value gap, which would also be uh, Could also be at the 6-2, which would be a good spot to go back long. And that 2-7 ends up, boom, right up at the top of that. So that is my long setup. If we can get back down to this fair value gap, where are we at right now? We're at 83.44. We definitely could get down there by the end of the day. We have enough time to get a good bounce and a good trade off of that. I don't know. If we break the 5-day SMA on the hourly, we do have this order block, which we are basically bouncing off of at the moment, but it has been tested once. We have that order block, which is the one we are actually bouncing off of right now. So this is the first test off that order block. think I think my bias is still long at the moment. The question is, do we just go up from here, which is pretty much the first test into this bearish fair value gap? So, yeah, just really going to have to watch price action and see how it reacts. We're kind of squeezed in between order blocks and fair value gaps. That was liquidity sweep there, which means we have a breaker as well. This last up move here would be our breaker. That is a breaker inside of a fair value gap with an order block. That would be absolutely amazing to come down and hit. Just put the breaker there. There's our breaker. So all of this just falls right into the same area. If we could possibly push down from this bearish fair value gap, I definitely see a bounce coming from this area here. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for now. If we can get back to the 6-2 or even the 7-0 and then pull back quickly, preserve the fair value gap or even the 5-0 at this point, with it being right at VWAP. See that reversal come down to here and possibly take along there. So we're definitely in a 5-minute sell side. Liquidity move, our original consolidation, one, pretty much two consolidations there. And then I don't know if these candles actually closed lower. Close on that was 83.14, 83.15. So it did take liquidity by a tick before creating the order block and the inverted fair value gap. I would really love to see us come, now that we've got our market structure shift. This is the perfect opportunity for the buy side of this. Love to see it come back up to here, but I want to see us pull back on this first. And I may actually do an overnight trade on this. From up to back. If this becomes the high, and we start our pullback, I am definitely looking to get in at the 6-2 and adding at the 7-0 and adding at the 7-9, risking that low. That is the swing low right there. So here, take that back. That swing low has not been broken. So yeah, absolutely looking to start my trade at the 6-2, add at the 7-0, and add at the 7-9, risking below that right there. Because we now have our market structure shift from the liquidity move, which created the sell side. If we can get our pullback, if this goes a little higher, then I'm definitely looking. We've got market clubhouse, we've got an inverted order block, we have an inverted fair value gap, we've got the 5-day SMA, we've got uh, VWAP. Uh, so everything is lining up. We might break these at some point, but that's definitely um, liquidity target right here. So uh, I am definitely going to wait and see when this starts to pull back and fib that pullback. Absolutely take a long trade in crude oil uh, when we get to our fibs, which means I have to wake up sometime this evening and see where we're at. Knowing that this is, I can't place any orders until the market opens at 6 o'clock this evening anyway, which is another 5 hours away. So I will be more than likely waking up around 6, 7 o'clock this evening, which should give me a pretty decent opportunity to catch that trade. I really like this setup on crude oil. We'll definitely be going heavy into my 250K accounts at Apex. If we can get this get this trade set up. All right. So gold, let's take a look at the daily. Daily taking some liquidity and hit a double bottom. Got an inverted fair value gap that was just created on the daily. And we have our market structure shift on the daily. So I would definitely be looking for a pullback of some kind here, at least to the 50%, which puts us, I think, at this fair value gap inside the inverted. That swing low is here. If it were to go directly down from there, 50% would be right there. On the daily, I don't look for the 6-2 or the 7-0. I'm really looking for 50%, just straight up premium at discount pricing. So if we could get back to that 50% right there, definitely be looking long. Looks like we're headed, for some liquidity. We could be moving up to swipe liquidity from 2406, 2407 before pulling back maybe to that premium discount level. I mean, if we did go up to 406, 407, our 50% would be right at the top of that fair value gap inside the inverted, which would be, for me, a fantastic place to take a long. Uh, so yeah, see what happens when it sweeps liquidity from this high right here, which is the last swing high. If it displaces past that, then maybe we go on up. But if not, then you could definitely see a liquidity sweep of this high, pull back into this internal uh, liquidity here. So that is pretty much that. Uh, and yeah, that would be if it, I mean, if it pulled back straight away off the open, and we get our pullback and then go up, the daily 2.7 is up here, uh, right at a market clubhouse level. So it would be interesting to see if we could reach that in one day. It'd be a pretty nice sized candle, but hey, it's very possible. It's made candles like that before. So be interesting to watch gold as well. So pretty much gold, crude oil are going to be uh, the main things I look at for the moment. I don't think I'm going to be looking at NQ just because it's very, you know, precarious where it's at. I mean, up at all-time highs. There's no liquidity levels above it. Uh, I really want to see it pull back a bit before I start really looking at it. YM is something to look at because we do have the levels above and below, but pretty much I think crude oil and gold are going to be my go-tos for the beginning of the week, and see what develops in NQ, ES, and YM the first part of the week uh, to see where it might be headed. So that is the market prep for Sunday, uh, July 7th. Get my mouse working again. There we go. Sunday, July 7th. And, you know, don't really have a bias on anything. I think I have a long bias on gold. Um, definitely, and I say that. Hmm, I mean, I definitely can see it, getting back up into this area, especially with this daily inverted fair value gap. Let's go take a look at the 1 hour because we did not look at the 1 hour. Got to pull back to the order block, hard push up. We've grabbed liquidity from this. Uh, we have not yet grabbed liquidity from this order block, but this is the first time we're hitting this order block. So I definitely am going to look for that reversal off of that. That is looking very nice to get that reversal. Take that off now. Uh, we broke structure. Haven't really had a meaningful pullback since we broke structure. Now that we're in this order block, uh, oh, that was order block from back here that actually has been mitigated. So came down, grabbed liquidity from this low, pushed up. We couldn't break that low, pushed up. So we are in the buy side. So definitely looking for that long that I said I was looking for on the daily. Question is, do we break this? Oh, that is an order block. So yeah, definitely looking for the pullback on this break of structure, and then just go ahead and fib that out on the 1 hour. That should be the buy side. Um, Is that going? Definitely love to see the pullback here to the 50 or the 6.2 and then bounce it. 6.2 is going to be about the bottom of that consolidation there. The top of that fair value gap that is now inverted. So that is a big inverted fair value gap and inverted order block. Down push before last up push. So it would be this one here. Breaker bar, we pushed down, took liquidity, and then took off to the upside. And that was the 8:30 that happened. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and call this a breaker. We'll see if we come back to it, which the top of that breaker would be right at a market clubhouse level as well, which would be awesome. And that is right at the top of an inverted fair value gap as well. So we'll leave the breaker on. Inverted fair value gap at the breaker as well. Midline in there. Possible breaker bar at the top of an inverted fair value gap. That be a really nice pullback to see, which is also right at the 6.2, between the 6.2 and 7.05. That would be perfect. All right, well, let's just see if it happens then. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Uh, my thoughts and ideas for either longs or shorts, depending on what price action does at different liquidity levels. And um, yeah, hope everybody trades well this week. I am definitely going to be super patient, uh, waiting for these setups. And then in my funded account, I am in drawdown, so I have to reduce risk there. But in my 250K Apexes, they are brand new. Um, I can get pretty aggressive in those to try to get those passed if these setups come around. So yeah, definitely be looking to get somewhat aggressive in all the combines, but reduce the risk, which also is going to reduce the profit in the funded account, which is okay. Um, it is still up $1,233 from 2,300. I did take a daily loss limit on that on Friday. Uh, so we've got to cut our risk and I was thinking about cutting it in half, um, but I may even cut it further than that till I just really see myself uh, getting a few wins under my belt and uh, gain some confidence back. So we may cut that into a quarter and just trade 2 micros on entry and add 2 micros if we get the opportunity between like the 6.2 and the 7.9. Add 2 micros, and if the trade starts working in our favor and gets back above the 50, headed to the 2.7, then we'll add another 2 micros in there somewhere for a total of 6 micros per trade. Uh, just go from there, get a few wins in on that account before we go back to half risk, entering with 5 micros. So not going to be a whole lot of profit coming out of that account, but there also won't be any big losses either. So the goal is to keep the account open, be very patient, wait for our setups, and manage our risk. So, see everybody Monday morning. Uh, may possibly be able to do some live trading Monday morning. We'll see. Depends on where I'm at. I do have a run going down to Florida, where I'm going to take a couple of days off and visit my mom. So just depends on where I'm at and how far I still have to go on whether or not I get to do any live trading early in the week and go from there. So trade well, everybody. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, let me know.